Hey there. This is Betsaida, founder of ImprovEQ, and today I just want to share a little bit about um, the tagline, which is also just the meaning and the method to ImprovEQ and how basically it guides all the things that I do, which is pause, play, perform. So you may have heard me say that it's on the logo, pause, play, perform. I just wanted to talk about um, where that came from, what it means, and how I think about that as guiding principles really towards this bigger mission that I have really, which is to create a cultivate a community of intellectually and emotionally intelligent leaders who think like improvisers, and that really requires all those pieces, right? The pause, the play, the perform. I almost try to make a new word there. But pause, play, perform. And so people get the play. They understand, like, okay, if we're doing improv based things, just kind of the spirit of play. But really, that doesn't get us anywhere if we don't understand how to start with pause. So to me, what pause means, it is about, right, building awareness. It is taking a moment and allowing ourselves to kind of interrupt that automatic response, those automatic responses that we have in all kinds of ways, right? So, if you're looking for a different way of kind of doing things, if something that you're doing, you're kind of getting the same results and you're looking for a different result, one of the most effective things that you can do is to do it different, right? You do the same thing every time, you're going to get the same result. And a lot of us don't even recognize what we are doing in any given day when we're interacting with people, the things that are happening to us that are kind of, causing any kind of reaction inside of us. We're just kind of going on autopilot, and it happens to all of us, right? There's a perfect example of when you're driving and, all of a sudden you're like at your destination and you're like, wait, what? How did I get here? And I know that's not just me. I know that that happens to you too. And that is because we are so good. Our brains want to go on autopilot all the time. And so to combat that, we have to be really intentional in where we choose to pause, where we choose to build awareness about what it is that we're doing. And so that's one of the things that I'm always making happen in the different workshops and in my coaching program, and even the Wednesday night community drop-in is opportunities to kind of make people kind of change and have to listen to kind of what's going on. And it's all about that priming for that emotional intelligence starts with just building your awareness. And so pause is huge. That idea of interrupting the pattern, that pattern interrupt, where you actually are like not just going to go into this autopilot. It's a big deal. And it's something that you have to work at and you have to cultivate and, definitely be someone who practices this, because it is going to make a huge difference. I believe so much in this idea of pause. And then the second principle, right? Play. That's what I'm really known for. People know, like, Betsaida knows how to play. Betsaida brings play. And that's true. I'm very playful. And I think that the piece that sometimes people don't understand about play is that play isn't just about everything being super duper fun. Because play isn't just fun. It has to be more than that, right? There has to be an element of challenge to play. There has to be a level of comfort that happens when you play, when you are able to laugh. Think about the fact that, I used to do stand-up comedy, and you cannot just get a group of strangers to just spontaneously start laughing genuinely. You cannot do that. You have to build rapport first. You have to make sure that everyone in that room feels comfortable, feels like they're going to have a good time, they're being taken care of, and that's what, I would do as a host. And you have to prime that. You have to build this space. So when we play, we can only do that when we already know that we're safe, right? If you're about, to be in a very difficult situation, that is not the time that you're going to really feel like, playing and doing like a little dance. That is not the time. That's not an appropriate time to do that either. Our brains don't want to do that, right? You might have like some nervous laughter, but that's not playful. That is masking of terror and fear, right? So this idea of play is about being able to be comfortable, letting your guard down, being really authentic with who you are, right? I love to look to kids to play, because kids, like young kids, like I'm talking like 3 or 4, that's especially, like, they know how to play. They have not yet taken on these other ideas that society puts on them of like how they're supposed to be or how they're supposed to appear. So they are so genuine and they are so authentic. I don't know the last time that you hung out with a 3 or 4-year-old. Maybe it was yours. If it wasn't, maybe a little more awkward, but still, you see kids that are out and about in the world. I have the pleasure of working with kids. I have some nieces and nephews and get to see them play, and they're so genuine at that age, right? They're not doing it for anyone else. It is all for them. They are so who they are, and that is so important. When you play, you totally let down those defenses. You are fully 100% authentic in yourself, and you can only do that when you feel like you're comfortable. And immediately when we're playing with people, it connects us, because I already had to make the assumption that I trust you so that I can play with you, right? And it doesn't have to just be fun for nothing. It is fun, but it is also, there's a challenge to it, right? Play helps us to learn because we're trying things that we haven't tried before, right? If you are doing the exact same thing that you've done every single day for 10 years, let's say, maybe the first time you did it, maybe the first 2 times you did it, it was playful, right? But at a certain point, it stops being playful, because play requires also a level of challenge. So I always try to remind people of that it is also about pushing yourself past your comfort zone, because that's where you really get to play and you get to really stretch yourself. So that's the second piece, is play. And then the last one that's, uh, part of the method of how I approach everything that I do with ImprovEQ is perform. And so that is about taking the things with, pause and with play, and now to perform, it's all about doing it intentionally. So it's not just like, well, I hope it'll work out. It's like, now I know what to do, and I will show up and I will do it better. I will evaluate how it went, and I will get better every time. As an improviser, and as an improv teacher, more importantly, I've always hated when people say, well, you shouldn't have anything in your brain. You shouldn't be thinking at all if you're improvising. I think that is so, I'm just going to be honest, that's stupid. It doesn't make any sense. You should not just be not thinking about anything, because then nothing that happened before matters, right? What you should be doing is not thinking of like what happens in the future. You shouldn't be pre-planning, but you absolutely should be thinking about what it is that you're doing, and then making sense of that in the moment. And I think that that piece of perform and how to do it intentionally is that same kind of thing. Is you still want to be thinking about what you know, what you've already done, and then use that information to make the next obvious choice. Right? It doesn't have to be big, and it should definitely not be about planning everything out, right? But to be here as an improviser, I am a better improviser because of what I've done before and what I've learned, right? I bring all of that skill set with me every time that I approach a choice and decision. And so to throw all of that out makes no sense. So perform is about using all of the things that you've learned, all of those skill sets, and then doing it intentionally so that you can get exactly the outcome that you hope for, and get better each and every time. So that's all that I wanted to share. Pause, play, perform. Now you know what it's all about.